Today we will be reading and writing from Salesforce. We'll define the objects we want to read first, contact and lead. For each of these objects, we have a destination, which is going to be my webhook. There's a schedule. Every 10 minutes, we will do a read. We will require these fields to be read from every customer's Salesforce instance, but they can decide if they want us to read from salutation. When the installation is first created, we will backfill the full history of that customer's Salesforce for their contact. For lead, we again have a webhook destination every 10 minutes, a number of required fields. This time we're also defining a mapping. So our customers might be using different standard and custom fields to indicate the priority of a lead. For all of the other fields inside of a lead, they're going to be optionally selectable. Again, we will do a full backfill of leads when someone installs. We also want to be able to write back to their Salesforce, to their contacts and opportunities. Now that we've defined our integration, we can deploy it with the Ampersand CLI. Now it is deployed, so we can now see it in the Ampersand dashboard. So here's our integration. There's nobody using it yet, so let's fix that by embedding the UI library. Here we have the code for our app. Inside of the page that we want the user to be able to install the integration, we embed the install integration component from the Ampersand React library. So let's see what this looks like. This is the component. The first step is that the user will put in their Salesforce subdomain. They'll click Next, and this triggers the Salesforce auth flow. Next, the user is presented with this configuration UI. We see here for contact, there are the required fields that we've defined here. Salutation is optional. For lead, again, we have the required fields that we've defined up here. For lead, we have a mapping. So which field do you use to track the priority of a lead? In this test Salesforce instance, we actually have a custom field called custom lead score. You'll notice that this entire dropdown is populated by real Salesforce data from that instance we just connected to. Next, because of this optional field auto all that we've defined, we present the user with all of the fields within that lead object so that they can pick which ones they want our application to read. And these are the objects that we've defined to be able to write to. Back on the Ampersand dashboard, we see the new group, which is the new customer group that just installed our integration. We can click in to see these operations. There are two operations here that have just been created, one for each of the objects that we're reading. We see here that both have successfully sent webhooks. So let's click into one of them. Clicking into the operation will allow us to see more detailed events that happened as a part of this, and clicking into any of these events will show us the logs. So in this case, we've saved all of the historic data and then delivered it to our webhook. This is our test webhook. So if we refresh, we should see the new message that just got sent to us. As we can see, this is a number of contacts that are coming from our Salesforce instance. Next, we'll write to the Salesforce instance by making an API call to Ampersand's write endpoint with our project ID, our integration, the object, the group ref, and the record that we want to write. We see here that it was successful, and this is the new record ID. So let's go see this in our Salesforce instance. Now within our Salesforce dashboard, we see this newly created contact, Sally Banks, with the email address that we just gave it within the API call. And we can see that within the Ampersand dashboard, a new operation has been created for this write, and it had a success status.